Oh boy, here we are again. 2 years. Oh boy, I can't believe it took me so long. Hmm. Sometimes I even wonder what I'm doing with my life. And actually, in the beginning, it wasn't that bad. I remember the first 40 minutes of the movie took me like a couple of months. I initially was aiming for a movie that was between 1 hour and a half and 2 hours long. So I thought I would be done in about 6 months or so, but the final cut was over 4 hours long, and therefore it wasn't really practical to release this as a single segment. Oh yeah, that sapling is never going to grow. That's the point actually. It's kind of a tribute to all the sequoias I have to cut down for this garden. I will show you in a moment. That's actually one of my main criticism or disappointment I have for this movie. On one hand, it was too long to be released in one piece, and on the other hand, each episodes were shorter than I would have liked. Yeah, those chisel stone cost me almost one steel chisel. What a ripoff. But anyway, since I made this choice to not include any audio commentary, I was more or less constrained by the length of the song I would use. And since each songs were about just a couple of minutes long, that means each episode were best between 5 and 10 minutes long. Oh, I could have used other songs, but I wanted to stick to the Minecraft soundtrack because it is such a fantastic use of inspiration. I was surprised by how well I was able to make the action match the rhythm of the songs. As for annotation, I try to keep them as short as possible and as few as possible. Ideally, I wanted none, but just a couple of them can go a long way to explain what's going on the screen. As you can see, there's still some work left to do. Not much though. I finished everything in my creative world, but I don't think there is enough work left to do to make an entire episode out of this. But I will finish this. I will finish this in due time. This is where I stored all the resources I get from the excavation of the garden. All these barrels are filled with chalk cobblestone, like about 12 barrels or so. That's quite a lot. I don't really know what I'm going to do with all of this, but we will see. We will see. Here we have some dirt left, gravel, and all the sand I have left. To give you an idea, I spent about 120 hours of game time in this world. Oh man, what have you? But anyways, out of this I recorded about 32 hours of footage. Most of this ended up in the movie, but speed up by quite a bit, of course. Oh, wow, still some basalt left. Actually, I haven't played this world for almost 2 months now since I finished the movie, so I kind of forget what I have in storage. Yeah, and the east wing of the tower still need to be done. But anyways, so a lot of stuff happened off camera. I realized that the pacing of the movie was a little bit faster than I would have liked. Oh yeah, the reason why we are here is because I lost all the progress I made in the last episodes. Well, actually no, it was the last time lapse. I don't know what happened. I guess I screwed up my backup. It's kind of a shame because I was extremely paranoid throughout the entire movie. I guess it's not that much of a big deal because there's not that much missing anyway. Oh yeah, that's all the sequoias I have to cut down to make room for the garden. There's even more in the storage expansion, but just in this pile there's something like 1000 lug in it. That's way more than I will ever need. I don't really know what to do with this, and I don't want to use this as a fuel source. So I guess it's going to stay here for now. Where was I? Oh yeah. So the pacing of the movie was a little bit too fast because for some segment, just blinking your eyes might be enough to miss some important footage. So I guess that this commentary is going to be a good opportunity to do a proper world tour. On a side note, I would like to mention that in like the movie, these episodes will be released when they're ready. I don't really know how long it's going to take. I mean the whole series, but if I have to make a guess, I would say between 1 hour and 1 hour and a half. There we go. Didn't take that long. Oh yeah, before I forget, you were probably screaming at your screen when you saw this. But I only noticed this when I was reviewing the last episode. I mean, I recorded, edited, and rendered the entire movie before I noticed this mistake. Yeah, it was on the south side of the tower. I don't know how many times I've looked at this, but I'm really good at forgetting just a couple of blocks and noticing this way too late. I guess you can call this tunnel vision because I'm so focused on the time lapse that I completely forget everything else. But I guess better late than never. Speaking of tunnel vision, another example here. There we go. Better late than ever, huh? Another regret I had is that I was not able to use shaders, at least not in 1080p, maybe 720p at 30 fps, but actually let's check. Yeah, 30 FPS and not even half the chunks loaded. It's not good. Oh, and by the way, I'm recording everything on a laptop that is about 6 years old. I think it's time to invest in a better setup. Seriously, I really do. It might not look so bad in the video, but in-game it's pretty terrible. 20 FPS is barely playable. Yeah, sure, it looked nice, huh? But we are reaching slideshow territory here, so let's give some mercy to this poor laptop. But I think that it was beautiful enough even without shaders. Actually, I would like to go back to the beginning because a lot of stuff happened even before the movie started. There we go, where it all started. Actually, almost the start because I think we are on day 5 here. Yep, that's right. That's actually my earliest backup I have. So if I have to give a difficulty rating for this seed, I would say it was a very easy map. The reason for this is because I was able to find all the resources I need above ground. Anyone who played TFC knows that there is at least one resource that is a pain in the ass to find. Yeah, like graphite, silver, or garnierite. Even sometimes flux can be hard to find. Come to think of it, in this seed I had access to 3 out of the 5 flagstone, like dolomite, chalk and marble. Only limestone and borax was missing. But finding all those resources above ground is not that rare, because if you are willing to travel, you will eventually find them. But finding those resources within 1000 blocks of the main base, that makes things quite easy. Yeah, for example, on my first TFA playthrough, I had to dig a decent branch mine to find graphite, about 1500 blocks from home. I had to dig another one just to find nickel, but this one was just on my main base. And guess what? Another branch mine to find silver. I also found pitch blender, but as far as I know, this is a useless ore. This branch mine, though, that was quite a trip from home, about 3000 blocks to the northwest. Although it's mostly ocean, it's still quite a trip to get there. Anyway, back to the spawn point. Overall, I would say that that seed was quite beautiful, but as you will see, there was way too many lava pools. There's a setting that supposedly can change the rarity of those pools, but as far as I've tried, this setting doesn't make any difference at all. So, since it didn't work, I decided to change the rarity manually. Now, with hindsight, that was a little bit too overzealous on my part, because in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that much of a big deal, especially in TFC, because forests can regenerate. I was worried about the frame rate, but even here, it's not that bad. Yeah, but it makes chunk loading quite slower. So, how do we change the rarity manually, you may ask? Well, just pick some dirt, preferably on creative mode, and spam them until the polygon. That's it. Rinse, repeat as many times as necessary, and you're done. Oh yeah, I forget. You better have to disable the fire tick before exploring new area, because otherwise, by the time you get there, the fires will be almost over, making this whole effort kind of pointless. But again, with insight, that was completely overzealous, in some way, I would say unnecessary. I think that what I was worried about are fire in a forest that has a tree density similar to an acacia forest. Because I have seen some of these and they are quite spectacular. And actually, when I was traveling to the south in my last trip, at the edge of the acacia forest, guess what decided to spawn here? Yep, some lava pools. We are 7,000 blocks from home here and they are still spawning like crazy. God damn it. For fun, I just wanted to know how bad it is going to be, so I just let the fire going on. This is speed up by a factor of 30. Yep, that's how bad I remember it was. I'm pretty sure if I wait long enough, the entire forest will eventually burn down. Yeah, less than 30 FPS. I guess that's what I was worried about. Yeah, there are so many fires. Even though there is an age limitation, they keep respawning as fast as they disappear. But anyway, back to the main site. To give you an idea, when I started playing this seed on survival, I've already done all the major builds in creative mode. So even though in the movie it looks like I found this site by accident, even before I started playing I knew that I would settle here. Actually, it would be easier if I switched to creative mode to show you why I chose this location. There are always specific features I'm looking for when I'm choosing a main base settlement. Salt water and fresh water not too far away, but usually that's not too hard to find. Then I want a mountain nearby because it is easy to get rocks from it. I don't want to dig 10 layers of dirt and gravel just to get some stone. Next, I want a source of copper nearby because early on you don't have much equipment. I don't want to travel too far just to get some. Next, I want a source of lava next to some water for a stone generator, of course. Again, not too far away because you will have to carry the stone with you. This can be hard to find though, but early on a stone generator is extremely helpful. Last but not least, I would like a stone type I kind of like. All stone types are fine, except one, slate. I really don't like this one because it has kind of an unusual color and weird texture that makes it really hard to match it with other blocks. And I tried quite a few times and miserably failed. Speaking of failure, this was my first choice for my main base, but I quickly realized that this was a terrible idea because of all the overhangs and ravines. It would be a pain in the ass to secure this site, not to mention the space available was kind of limited. I didn't get too far, just tried to build a tower and quickly gave up. Yeah, it was on top of this peak. The only thing left is a screenshot. I'm pretty good at deleting my failures. Sometimes I wish I kept them just to have a good laugh. But anyway, the tower was a little bit too generic for my taste. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. Also, bonus points if there is sequoias or Douglas fir nearby, because I really like tall trees. Typical trees in Minecraft are a bit too small in my opinion, because in a real world forest, trees can easily reach 30 meters high. So, that's it as everything I wanted. I really couldn't ask for better. So, the first 25 minutes of the movie were spent exploring our resource gathering. I still find this part a little bit boring, but on the other hand, if I had to cut it, it would have been too much of a jump from naked to almost having all the tools. So yeah, I kind of accepted that this part was going to be a little bit slow. At least it was a good opportunity to be familiarized with the surrounding area, I guess. Fun fact, it took me 2 tries to edit that part. Yeah, when I thought I was done with the movie and I was doing the last review, I decided to redo about half of the beginning. For fun, this is a small excerpt of my first try. There was about 15 minutes with similar editing, and I really don't like it. The camera is moving way too fast, it almost gives motion sickness. The map overview was not that helpful, and you see way too little of the landscape. But at this time I tried to use the replay mod to get a smoother camera movement, and it didn't work. The game crashed actually. But later I found the camera studio mod by Sushan. It was not as practical as the replay mod, but still giving way better results than this style of editing. So thank you for those mod, it really made this entire movie possible. Anyway, just a reminder not to do this kind of editing in the future. If I didn't make a movie, I would have spent the entire in-game summer exploring the surrounding area, because exploration in TFC is way more important than vanilla Minecraft, since the resources can be spread quite far apart. But the thing is, given the amount of stuff I wanted to build, I better get started as soon as possible. Because again, at this point, I still thought I could make the entire movie in the 2 hours. And here we are, already 25 minutes in. So yeah, once I got enough resources for a few tools, I decided to go building right away. So next, I would like to talk about my building style or inspiration of a vast subject that I will keep for the next episode. But before I finish, I would like to talk about parts that some of you might have wondered what was the point of this. I called this part the dream sequence. My initial idea was to show some glimpse of my old worlds. In the beginning you saw me type world 5. Well, the reason being that there was a world 1, 2, 3 and 4 before that. Again, because I thought I would be done in about 2 hours, I've also thought that adding some extra footage would help extend the length of the movie. But at some point I realized that the movie was going to be a lot longer than I thought, so I did only one of those dream sequences. And it basically describes the Minecraft alpha days, or at least my Minecraft alpha days. The story I wanted to tell is when I started playing back then, everything seemed wonderful. Every bit I did seemed a masterpiece. Yep, and I was proud of this. Man, almost embarrassing watching this now. But hey, you have to start somewhere, right? Then, once I'm done building my crop, I dug a mine shaft, loot what there is to loot, and then rinse repeat somewhere else. I thought I was the best player, that is, until I saw what other players have built. And this is where I realized how much I suck. So there we go, that's the story I wanted to tell. So stay tuned for the next episode.